The readings will now be given by Dede from Georgia.
I will read from the Bible, King James Version. 1 Samuel. Only fear the Lord, and serve him in truth with all your heart. For consider how great things he hath done for you. Deuteronomy. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. Matthew. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Now when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Jesus saith unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Jesus said unto him, Follow me, and let the dead bury their dead. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth. Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. Ye shall know them by their fruits. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. John. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. I will now read correlative passages from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures and prose works by Mary Baker Eddy. To those leaning on the sustaining, 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 Today is big with blessings. wakeful shepherd beholds the first faint morning beams, ere cometh the full radiance of a risen day. The wise men were led to behold and to follow this day star of divine science, lighting the way to eternal harmony. If all who ever partook of the sacrament had really commemorated the sufferings of Jesus and drunk of his cup, they would have revolutionized the world. If all who seek his commemoration through material symbols will take up the cross, heal the sick, cast out evils, and preach Christ or truth to the poor, the receptive thought, they will bring in the millennium. Through all the disciples experienced, they became more spiritual and understood better what the Master had taught. His resurrection was also their resurrection. It helped them to raise themselves and others from spiritual dullness and blind belief in God into the perception of infinite possibilities. They needed this quickening, for soon their dear Master would rise again in the spiritual realm of reality and ascend far above their apprehension. As the reward for his faithfulness, he would disappear to material sense in that change which has since been called the ascension. You may know when first truth leads by the fewness and faithfulness of its followers. Thus it is that the march of time bears onward freedom's banner. The powers of this world will fight and will command their sentinels not to let truth pass the guard until it subscribes to their systems. But science, heeding not the pointed bayonet, marches on. There is always some tumult, but there is a rallying to truth's standard. Few understand or adhere to Jesus' divine precepts for living and healing. Why? Because his precepts require the disciple to cut off the right hand and pluck out the right eye. That is, to set aside even the most cherished beliefs and practices, to leave all for Christ. It is not well to imagine that Jesus demonstrated the divine power to heal only for a select number or for a limited period of time, since to all mankind and in every hour, divine love supplies all good. The few thousand persons who followed Mrs. Eddy during the first years of her preaching were the objects of much ridicule. But despite the obstacles put in the way, the church has continued to grow. Few believe that Christian Science contains infinitely more than has been demonstrated, or that the altitude of its highest propositions has not yet been reached. The heights of the great Nazarene sayings are not fully scaled. Yet his immortal words and my poor prophecy, if they are true at all, are as true today as they will be tomorrow. I am convinced of the absolute truth of his sayings and of their present application to mankind. And I am equally sure that what I wrote is true, although it has not been demonstrated in this age. Christian scientists hold as a vital point that the belief of mortals tip the scale of being, morally and physically, either in the right or in the wrong direction. Therefore, a Christian scientist never mentally or audibly takes the side of sin, disease, or death. Others who take the side of error do it ignorantly or maliciously. The Christian scientist voices the harmonious and eternal, and nothing else. He lays his whole weight of thought, tongue, and pen in the divine scale of being for health and holiness. Beloved Christian scientists, the secret place whereof David sang is unquestionably man's spiritual state in God's own image and likeness, even the inner sanctuary of divine science, in which mortals do not enter without a struggle or sharp experience, and in which they put off the human for the divine. Knowing this, our Master said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." In the highest sense of a disciple, all loyal students of my books are indeed my students, and your wise, faithful teachers have come so to regard them. What I have to say may not require more than one lesson. This, however, must depend on results. A scientist shall not endeavor to monopolize the healing work in any church or locality to the exclusion of others. But all who understand the teachings of Christian Science are privileged to enter into this holy work. And by their fruits ye shall know them.